And we are live. Hopefully this video is working. Guess there's only one way to do it, and that's just give it a try. So here we are. It is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, and we are on the first day of coronavirus lockdown. So, all right, algebra kids, here's our lesson today. We're going to do section 5-2. And our lesson has to do with systems of equations and solving by, and I'm going to use a different color, substitution. Substitution. Okay, we're going to do it by substitution. I'll show you what that means. Okay, so systems of equations and solving by systems of equations. So if we go back, and you don't necessarily have to write this down, but if we go back to what we did, and I flip the page back a day or two, what we did previously is we graphed these two lines, and we found out where they intersected, and that was the answer. Again, so what we did yesterday is we graphed two lines and we found out where they intersect. Well, today there's a way to do it without graphing. It's faster, it takes less paper, and it's accurate. It's not a guesswork. So let me show you an example. So let's look at example 1. So example 1, we have two equations. We have a 4y plus 1 equals x, and I have an x equals a 5y, okay? Now these are two lines because x and y. We could graph these two lines and find out where they intersect, but there's a faster and easier way to do it, and it's more accurate. So let's keep in mind what we're going to find. The answer that we find is some point. A point of intersection. Okay. So we get done with our whole thing, our entire lesson that I'm going to teach you here in a minute. The answer is some point of intersection. So let's do it. Okay, I've got 3 examples I want to go through, and then I'll give you the homework. Okay, here's my example 1. So what I'm going to do is this. If I'm going to do substitution, what I like to do is write the problem side by side. I have an equation 1 and equation 2. So let's just call this one equation 1, call this equation 2. So equation 1, I'm going to write 4y plus 1 equals x. And equation 2, I'll put right side by side, x equals 5y. Okay, so I like to write them side by side, and I like to put a little line between them. Okay, so here's what I know. Since in this case x is equal to 5y, what I'm going to do is this. X is equal to 5y. So instead of writing x in this first equation, I'll just write 5y. It's a substitution. So I'm going to substitute x for what x equals in the other equation. So if x equals 5y, I'm going to put 5y right here. So I'm going to rewrite this. Equation 1 is 4y plus 1 equals, not x, but what x is equal to, 5y. Okay, now, it gets pretty easy to solve for, because all we have to do is solve for y, and we'll get one of the answers. There are 2 answers, but let's find out one. So I'm going to go ahead and try and solve for y here in equation 1. So, all right, minus 4y, I get 1 equals a 1y, or y equals 1. All right, that was easy. So then my answer is going to be something 1. Okay, now to get the corresponding y value, well, if I know y equals 1, let's substitute that. Do another substitution. Over here, I've got a y. So I'm going to take my y, which is equal to 1, and I'm going to substitute that in for y right there. So I'm going to rewrite equation 2 as x equals 5. And instead of writing y, I'm going to write what y is equal to, and that's 1. So instead of writing 1, y is equal to 1. So instead of writing y right here, let's write the 1. 5 times 1 is 5, and x is 5. So I'll put that down as my answer. Here is my answer. This is a point where the two lines intersect. Got the answer, and I never had to graph it. Okay, there's example 1. I got 2 more examples for you, and I'll give you homework. You can turn the page. Okay, example 2. So example 2 looks like this. I'm going to have a y equals a 10 minus 2x, and a y is equal to an x plus 4. All right. So this one's the same. They both equal y. So if they both equal y, they have to equal each other. But I'll go ahead and show you. If I go y equals 10 minus 2x and y equals x plus 4, instead of writing y in equation 1, let's just put this x plus 4 in its place. Since y is equal to x plus 4, instead of writing y, I'll write x plus 4. So I'll rewrite this. I will go x plus 4 equals 10 minus 2x. So instead of writing y, I wrote what y equals, and that was the x plus 4. Now I'm going to solve. So I'll go plus 2x plus 2x. I'll get a 3x plus 4 equals 10. Okay, I'm going to solve for x. Minus 4, I'll get a 3x equals a 6. Divide by 3, x is 2. So I have one of my answers. I need both. So my answer is going to be 2 something, because every point is some x comma y. So I've got my 2 something. Now to get my corresponding y value, since x is equal to 2, I'll come up here, and instead of writing x, I'll write 2. So y equals a 2 plus 4, or y equals 6. I'll put that right in here for y, and I have my answer. Okay, there's my answer. It's example 2. Alright, finally, I've got one more example. Example 3. So I'm going to turn my page. You can pause this anytime you need it. Let's do example 3. Okay, example 3. Alright, example 3, I have a 2x plus a 2y equals 4, and I have a y equals a 12 minus 3x. Okay? So once again, when I do this method, I like to write the two problems side by side. So I'm going to rewrite this as a 2x plus 2y equals 4, and a y equals a 12 minus 3x. Okay. Now, what I notice is that y in the second equation is equal to 12 minus 3x. That's what y is equal to. So instead of writing y right here, I'll put in its place, or I'll substitute, instead of writing y, I'll substitute in 12 minus 3x. So let me rewrite equation 1, 2x plus a 2. Now this 2 is still here. This 2 is still here, but then I put in 12 minus 3x right into y's place, and I'm just going to solve for x. Okay, so I'm going to distribute. I'm going to take the 2 and multiply it through, so I'll have a 2x plus, I'll distribute, and I get a 24 minus a 6x equals 4. I'll have it continue to solve. I'll have a 2x minus 6 is going to make a negative 4x plus 24 equals 4. I'm going to continue to solve for x, so I'll go minus 24 minus 24. I'll have a negative 4x equals a negative 20. I'll divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4, I'll have x equals positive 5. So that's my x value. 5 something, because every point has some x and y value. Now, to get the y value, we substitute again. Let's take our 5 and put it in for x, because it says x equals 5. So instead of writing x, I'll write 5, so I'll rewrite this as y equals 12 minus 3. But instead of writing x, I'm going to write 5, because that's what x is equal to. Okay, I'll simplify that, and I'll have it. So I'll go y equals a 12 minus 15, because 3 times 5 is 15. 12 minus 15 is a negative 3. I'll put my negative 3 right there for y. Okay, that's my answer. So today's homework, okay, and we'll look at it, is out of your journal. We're doing section 5-2, and we're going to be on page 130. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Page 130. So, I don't know if you'll have room to do it on here. You might if you write small. You could always do it on a separate sheet of paper, but I want you 1 through 9 all, okay? And I expect to see your work. If you can't show your work and you can't do it all, then I can't give you full credit. But we're going to do 1 through 9 all. Okay, so go ahead and text me, email, or whatever, your completed work. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.